So, I think we're back. Castle Game Yacht has returned after an unfortunate XSplit crash thanks to Duster from Mother 3. Now you know the backstory. And we're right back in. So, what can I say about this game that I haven't already said? I can say it is green. No, this game is great. It's been an absolute joy to revisit it. I wish it was a little darker, but again, I know it's bright because of the Game Boy Advance. There's a little meat in the corner, that's right. Maybe like, saturate it. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, dark. Now it's dark Castlevania. There's a filter or some sort of mod that fixes GBA colors. Really? That exists? I guess it would have to be custom for each game, though, because trying to assume the intent of what the original designers were going for. There's a tool-assisted run of this game online that I watched a little bit of, and I don't get it. Because almost every enemy drops their soul on the first kill. RNG manipulation? Oh, okay, well now I get it. I don't get it really, but, you know, I understand what you're saying. Wow, you look at this! Look at this, it's Rope Snake's twin! You son of a bitch, what the what's down there that's so interesting? Okay, I killed it once. No more farming. Your name, Somari Cruz. You're equal parts Sonic and Mario. And Tom Cruise. Your job, to steal the Declaration of Independence. Various jump and attack inputs move around the values of the RNG table. I see. Okay, well that's all I need to know there. I'm sure there's a lot more information, but I get what you're saying. Really interesting stuff, though. I'd recommend checking out the tool-assisted run if you're, finished watching this playthrough or whatever, and you just want to see what it looks like to be the very best, the best there ever was. Why is Twitch telling me you have 0 viewers? I guess the bots are all offline. Let me do a quick check. Are the view bots? You guys in the audience, you're all the view bots? I've been told that there are view bots. All of you. Each and every one of you. You're working? Okay, they're working. The 7 human viewers that are actually here, the view bots are working again, so that's a glitch on Twitch's end. Note to potential Twitch admins watching the stream, this is a satirical bit that I'm doing. What is satire? Twitch bots do not understand. Did you say bits? Did you know you could get a discount on bits by watching 7 ads in a row? Harn, funny joke. I know I missed a couple other things that I have to slide to get. This is gonna be gross, but I have to ask the question because I seem to recall this existing, but I don't know what it's from. Can someone tell me what this following line is from? And I'm sorry in advance, it's going to be gross. The line is as follows. I'll bet you taste alright. What is that? What is that from? I remember hearing that someplace, and I hate it, but I want to know what it is. Lord of the Rings. No. YOLO 2? Oh, is the video YOLO 2, Michael Cusack, right. Okay, got it. Thanks. YOLO! Yeah, that guy. That video. Quick question, if anyone knows, is the vacuum suck in this game too? Why are you able to attack with food? This is a very silly game sometimes. It's really spicy. That's what it is. It's hot. Collect souls to increase strength. Every soul you get just makes you stronger. That's good. That will become more and more useful. I like that. Would you ever play Limbo of the Lost again? No, I would not. That was abject horror. It was just painful. Like, it wasn't even that funny. When it was funny. Great, you know, fair enough. But man, that game was fucking boring. There's like 10 to 12 hours of just pain. And the controls fighting against you and... Ugh. Would you play Cry of Fear again? No. No. Walk on water surfaces. Okay, I know what to do with that. And sword. Hunting. poison secreting sword. Sword looks green. Use it, it's pink. Grunting is from Beowulf. Is that the name of Beow's sword? You ever wonder why Scott Baio never played Beowulf? Because you shouldn't wonder these things. And I shouldn't say things that stupid. Grunting was a weapon that Beowulf was given to fight Grundle, I believe. It's funny how Grundle has come to mean something very different these days. Even though I believe it was Grendel, not Grundle. Yeah. But I don't know if that was intentional, but I loved it. Thanks. Is this Dawn of Sorrow all over again? And if so, can I get some popcorn? Yes. There's gonna be a couple souls that I want. Are you kidding me? This is the best part. This is gonna be it. What'd I tell you? So between that and the mystical stick from earlier, have I developed some kind of, like, superpowers? I just got some godlike RNG. No shit! Soma Cruz does not look like he has this voice. I will be honest with you, Soma Cruz, to me, in my head, sounds like Tom Holland from Spider-Man. I got the suck vacuum! So, for those that didn't watch the Dawn of Sorrow streams, I've dubbed this the best soul in all of the game. And it is also now the best soul in this game. Look at it. It's just a bone vacuum. Like, that means that Dracula's magic was somehow able to create a bone vacuum. That's all you need to know, really, but it's just wonderful. And it's actually a useful ability, too. Not only does it look cool, but it gives you health back. So I need a save point pretty bad right now, because I don't want to lose these souls that I have acquired. Hammer just waiting to make sales. Just waiting for people to show up so we can sell something to someone. Hammer's like, I could be helping. You know, like, I'm a big, strong lad that probably can use guns. But I'm just gonna let Soma do all the work while I make money off of him. He is ripped. You're right. No, he's ripped. Very, very strong. You can tell he works his body to the limit. Like, the dude works out a lot. Probably pulls lots of muscles while trying to get so strong. Alright, this is stupid. And you know what the worst part is? The worst part is there are so many people that don't know what this Rip the Skin reference is. It's just so awful. It's time to stop. I think, yeah, I mean, the way Hammer works out, he probably is the boss of the gym that he goes to. That's correct. And that's after me saying I was gonna stop. It was awesome. I got home today. Heat was broken. So, you know, had to get that fixed. And while that was happening, and it was cold, you know, it was cold as fuck, as usual. So I put the oven on. That was cool. I mean, it worked. At least it wasn't 7 degrees again. That's true. It was a nightmare, but the problem is, like, the cold just retained. So, yeah. A couple blankets were helpful in these times of trouble. And I didn't burn the house down with the oven, but it was good because I just warmed it up for a little bit and then turned it off. And then the heaters did the rest to the space heaters. But what a nightmare it's been this past week in New York. Again, I think it's worth it. I like living in New York City too much to want to move. Didn't your heat break last year? My heat breaks every year, but oil heat is just, you know, it's old. I get the city isn't for everyone, but I genuinely love living here. No electric space heaters? No, I have them. They just don't heat up quickly. So, it was a big, you know, it was just cold for an extended period of time. Earl Heat. I had an uncle that worked for the Earl Company. That's how my grandfather and my great uncle would say it. Just these old Italian guys, you know, but like Americanized Italian, New Yorkers. And they would just call it Earl. So I always had the uncle that worked for the Earl Company, which is probably why, you know, Earl Heat is still a thing. Apparently a lot of people still use Earl. Your uncle didn't work at Nintendo? No. What is Earl? Oil? It's just they said oil like Earl. I don't know. They liked it. They liked saying Earl. And they knew it was wrong, but they just kept saying it. I'm kind of surprised I didn't explore this area. This is an early, low-level area. I just passed over it entirely. Speaking of uncles, there's a club in my town called Faux. F-A-U-X. Vin, you gotta come to my cousin's club. It's called Club Faux. Is it real? No. Alright, thanks. There's one requirement, though. If you're gonna come to my club, you have to pay to get in, and you have to bring girls. Okay, so then what's the point? I'm not really into clubs. Yeah, it's about $400, and you have to buy a mandatory bottle of champagne. So wait, why am I doing this? Because Eva Mendes! Vin, you gotta come to my cousin's festival. It's called Fire Festival. Blink 182 are gonna be there. Sum 41. Lump Sum 967. Barnacle 45. They'll be there. Firefest, it's called. We just need you to spot us a couple thousand. You get to hang with the celebrities. Your own private villa. Wait, really? My own private villa? And then you get there, it's a box. But they're actually, you know, they sell... There's some, like, websites that, exists. Like, This Is Why I'm Broke. For just rich people. It's just crazy. Well, some of it's cheaper. Some of it's stuff that's just, like, you know, random, like, tech stuff, or, like, oh god. I wouldn't even really know where to begin. Like a Death Star ice cube tray, right? And then other things cost like $2 million. Like a trip to some private home. But I was gonna say they actually sell like boxes that you can put like tents in your backyard that you could just live in. And I went on the website. And here are the items. This is a good example. These are the popular items that are on this website. Take a look at this. No Phone Air, which is just nothing, for $6. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. You get a prefabricated shipping container for $36,000. And you can just live in here. Right? Or you can get prank money wads. Which actually kind of sounds like a good prank. If, you know, just put some dog poop on it and you're good to go. But, yeah, the stuff I was talking about was stuff like this. Like, you could just make your own shit. You know, like a box. So, that's what kind of website this is. Which is just, to me, is nuts. That you can have... You can buy nothing next to a thing that you can buy for $36,000. And then you have this, I don't even know what this is. This doesn't even have a price. The ones without prices are usually more expensive. Oh god. Oh god, no. No, god, no. Please, God, no, god, no. Why? I like the show. Why are you doing this with the pickles? Stop with the pickles. Stop! No more pickles! I want to continue liking the show. On the next page, yeah, there's Pickled Dick. Thank you for that suggestion. That's a good joke. I should bring that... I should hire you as a writer. Vinny, if you had the chance to write a screenplay for some sitcom pilot, how would it be? I'd call it public access, and it would be a ripoff of The Office or, you know, Parks and Rec, even though I've only seen The Office. There's a concept I came up with 10 years ago when I was working at the public access station, because the people that exist... Picture this. You have a show about people putting on community television shows and thinking they're the hottest shit on the planet. Egos like you wouldn't believe for shows that 7 people watch. And I don't mean that in a dismissive, like terrible way. Like, I'm happy that they were doing something with their time. It was YouTube before YouTube. But you think about it like this. They're still doing this in a world where YouTube exists and where the internet exists. And they were just, every year, they were convinced was going to be their year. They were convinced that was the year they were going to make it. And the shows were bizarre. There was karaoke with cats. There was, like, rock shows with like, a mob theme. There was, Terrible Tim, who many of you know. That's from Staten Island Public Access. I know Terrible Tim. There's industrial television. There's all these crazy shows that existed that are, I think, just endlessly fascinating and cheesy. And some good ones, too. There was, like, the psychic shows. I'm not saying those were the good ones, but there were some decent ones. There's infomercials shows that weren't allowed. There was nepotism. There was corruption. There was some greed. There was a lot of terrible things that happened that made me absolutely miserable, but that's a whole other story. That would be, like, Season 5 drama. But yeah, it was just, me and my friend Paul had this idea to just write this into a show called Public Access. And just put some of the people that we met into characters. And then invent some other ones, of course. And it would be, you could just have so much. And it could be kind of like The Office. You could do one of those. Doesn't have to be anything terribly complex. Vinny, you realize you're falling into the same trap your characters are. I mean, I don't think I'm all that amazing. I just like streaming video games. Is that what you're talking about? I'm also not on public access TV. I was, but that was for fun. That was for funsies. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing those public access shows, but they were never for the purpose of trying to, like, make it. I'm not criticizing. I just thought they were endearing and also kind of funny. But the worst part of having to leave that job was that I actually did become, like, friends with a lot of people that were, you know, that worked there, that went and did shows there. And the weirder, the better. Unless, the one issue I had was when I was trying to work and people would come to me and talk to me for hours, or try to. That was the one issue, because I can be kind of introverted to begin with. And most of the time, I'd like to just, you know, just sit there and get my shit done, listen to some music. But if people were, you know, kind of... It's one thing to ask me for help, but it's another thing to ask me for help and then use that as an, like, kind of a way to draw me away from other work that I then have to finish tomorrow. And that happened a lot. That was the one issue in the early days. And then later on, the reason I had to leave the job, or I really needed to, is because they wouldn't give me a raise. It was, like, shittiest pay ever for basically someone that knew how to do all the, like, stuff there. So I learned how to do everything over the years. At one point, I was keeping, like, the shows on the air because people were leaving, people were getting fired, people were getting treated badly, and then people who were connected politically began to embezzle money out of the place. Allegedly, or it felt like that, you know, allegedly. And they were breaking, like, rules that were really, at this point, rules that applied to everybody but them. They were censoring shows. There was, like, a war against the community. And they wouldn't let me do my shows anymore. And it was really, really demoralizing and terrible. And they would put me on these... Okay, I had to do a 3-camera shoot by myself one time for a 2.5-hour show. I filmed 3.5 hours of it, and then I had to edit all 3 cameras by myself. I'm sorry this has turned into a complaint stream. I'm good now, but I want to let you know what happens, because this is someone asked, so I'm going to tell you the truth. So I edited the whole thing by myself. I had to do audio. It was like a talent show. The audio was terrible, but I had to do it. I had to fix it. I had to color grade. This thing took me a month and a half to do, and I worked really hard on it. I put my heart and soul into it. I had to do graphics all by myself. No one else was able to help me, and they wanted me to do it by myself. I did it by myself. I was really happy with the way it came out. Not even a thank you. And then when I asked for even a little bit of a raise, no raise. On top of me editing that, I had to also do my other duties that I did. Like, so I had to continue working on the other stuff, which was to keep, like, my job at the place was to ingest television shows into the system so that they could be played. I had to learn TriCaster, but for like 3 years I did tapes. We used DVC Pro for years. But I loved it there, and I didn't want to leave. I genuinely made connections with people that I enjoyed going someplace every day and being subjected to weirdness and nice people, and I liked the work I did. It felt rewarding. And I wouldn't have left if things didn't get so fucking terrible. So, and I had a good boss for 2.5 years. So, anyway, sorry to complain, it's just someone asked, and that was, that's the story of my job, of my public access job. For the record, none of that would be in the show. Would you make yourself the Jim of the show? I probably wouldn't be in my own show. Maybe as a cameo. Well, for example, in The Office, BJ Novak played Ryan, and he was a writer. Mindy Kaling was a writer, she played Kelly. And Toby was a writer as well, and he hated acting, so he would write him out of scenes. He would write himself out of the show as much as possible. And Mindy Kaling liked making him uncomfortable, so she would write all kinds of fucked up things for him to do. And she would give him as much screen time as possible. It was all in good fun, though. It was japes. They enjoyed themselves. It was just, yeah, they were just fucking around. And they didn't hate, they love each other. They're like best friends. And again, if, like, it's one thing, maybe he could just say, hey, I don't want to be in this scene, I don't want to do this, and maybe she would have just been like, yeah, sure. But at the same time, you're working on The Office. You're acting next to Steve Carell. Sounds pretty good. Sounds stressful. Well, yeah, I mean, for me, anything like that would be really stressful, because it's fucking... Imagine trying to, like, keep it together in a scene with him. What's your favorite guilty pleasure song? I like some Smash Mouth, unironically. And, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Don't have a ton of guilty pleasure songs that I'm aware. I like Coldplay. Like, I like 3 of their first albums. I love Oasis. I know that's a shitty thing for me to like. People hate Oasis. So, I mean, guilty. I don't like Nickelback. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I love Tears for Fears. That's not a guilty pleasure, right? Welcome to your life. I like dudes that... Fuck! I just kicked my heater over. Oops. Falling yet again in that same spot. No, it's good. It's fine. It's a small one. It's all good. I tend to like a lot of 80s songs, and I especially like people from the 80s that sound like that. So I don't know what guilty pleasure means in this case, because I just enjoy it. I think it's great. I don't really like top 40 songs. There's a lot of pop music. Whatever's popular at the moment, it's hard for me to get... I can't do it. I don't know, man. Like, when I went onto Michael Jackson's Spotify page earlier to see what song I wanted to play before I streamed, the first song, the top song on the Michael Jackson Spotify page was the posthumous release with Drake. And I listened to a second of it, and I heard Drake's voice auto-tune go, whoa! And I was like, huh? And then you have one of the best vocalists of all time. And I'm just like, I don't get it. How is this guy the most popular? Listen, whatever you like, that's good. don't feel guilty about it. I don't want to take that away from you, because I like some weird shit. If I played Sigur Rós, the amount of people that would make depressing sad boy emotes and give me shit about it, I know. You know, I get it. I'm a boomer old man who doesn't like pop music. I don't get Drake. I don't get it. And I don't know how Michael Jackson that's the most popular song that Michael Jackson has at the moment. After, you know, with all the hits, and it's not even that good of a song. Like, in terms of MJ, there are so many better songs. No, the boomer thing, people call me a boomer as a joke. I know I fit into the millennial category on a technical level. Whatever I am, you can say whatever you want. You can, you know, throw a label on me. That's fine. I'm used to it. I'm just some asshole, and I'm happy with that. Or I'm working on being more happy with that. Let's put it that way. I'm just, you know, whatever. Vinny, my cat is in heat, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help you with that problem. But thank you for looking to me for answers on this very specific and difficult issue. What happened? Who is listening to Imagine Dragons? How are they popular? Someone says, are people really discovering music from car commercials? Who is their target demographic? Well, at the moment, the two biggest things in rock, I believe, are Imagine Dragons and Greta Van Fleet. And I watched their Saturday Night Live performance because I heard it was interesting. And I look in the comments and it's just people calling the dude a hobbit, which isn't nice. But there's a connection. Lord of the Rings is something that Led Zeppelin would sing about frequently. It was not that good. No, there was a lot of sloppiness. To be fair, I wouldn't be able to play on SNL without losing my shit. So I'm not judging the kids. They're doing their best. But they're doing their best to sound like Led Zeppelin, and they're even dressing like Led Zeppelin. And it's just so awkward. Oh, God, I don't understand it. I don't get how people are putting these kids on the top billing. I've always said, listen, I want rock to thrive, but I want it to thrive in an interesting direction. I want it to do something like original, or fun, or at least good. But these kids, they're doing their best, but they're still sounding like Led Zeppelin. And they're also they were in the news. I think they said something like the lead singer was like, "We want people to stop comparing us to Led Zeppelin." It's like, all right, one, people are gonna do that exact opposite thing just to spite you, because they have a lot of people that hate them. Which, I mean, let's face it, it's kind of not their fault that they got so popular. They're young, they love Led Zeppelin, they sound like Led Zeppelin, and people just latched onto it. So, I can't hate them, I just don't like their music. And SNL proved to me they need a lot of work. I'm, again, not trying to be a rotten, miserable bastard about this, but it's rough, man. So yeah, they say they don't want to be compared to Led Zeppelin, but yet they sound and dress like Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin stole a bunch of their hits, so it's only fair. I'm not saying, like, oh god, these kids are so great because they're spiting Led Zeppelin. I don't care about the integrity of Led Zeppelin. I'm talking about the integrity of this band. You're right, they did do that. Early on, they took a lot of stuff and they borrowed a lot of things, but they also have tons of their own original shit. It's a conversation we've had 1,000 times. But it's like, this isn't about me, I don't feel like Led Zeppelin needs to be vindicated here. I don't really care about that. It's more about them asking not to be compared to Led Zeppelin when they're trying real hard to continue sounding like Zeppelin. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here. I don't get it. Who cares? Yeah, I guess you're right. Who does care? I don't care that much. Just topic of conversation for the stream. But, when you have, like, rock in such a bad place, and people are like, there's no good rock around, rock is dead, and then people point to Greta Van Fleet as, like, the saviors of rock and roll, which is happening, I can't help but be a little pissed. It's kind of like, well, no, I mean, King Gizzard exists, Pond exists, UMO exists, there's a lot of really great bands out there. Yeah, Queens of the Stone Age. And I don't even, like, need, like, something... like a fucking amazing new thing, necessarily. I just, you know, I just want to hear a good album. If it's just a good rock album, I'm happy with that. Anyway. So that's that. Someone said something about using the curly soul up here. Where exactly? If you do it, save first? Okay, I don't know what the hell this is, but I will save first. Oh, I just found a new area. Yeah, just purposefully confusing... just to trip up the player. Save first because it glitches you out of the map. Oh, so this isn't a real thing then. This isn't like a thing that you're supposed to be doing. This is a glitch. New Tool album? Yeah, how about that new Tool album? I didn't really... listen, I like Tool. I didn't love 10,000 Days. I was born on the very day that Dracula was destroyed. So in short, that means that I am Dracula. Whoa, cool leap of logic you just took there, dude. I can't remain here any longer. I must get to the throne. Your name is Soma, right? You are wrong, Soma. I will not allow you to rule. Where did his eye go? What is that face? Okay, so I'm gonna save. And I have the curly soul, so what now? We still never saw how Julius managed to finally defeat Dracula for good. That would make a good Castlevania game. Rick Kicker Soul gives you the Richter kick. Kicker Skeleton is the only optional ability soul. I really want that. Kickter. Yeah, I have to get that. So it's the kick from Smash. And from, obviously, Symphony and Rondo. I will get it in 5 tries. 1, 2. Feels good. Head to one of the rooms with the top section on it. Go to the top left corner, use Curly Soul in the tiny space. Okay, now what? What the fuck, dude? I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Wait, what am I even doing this for, anyway? This is just for fun? Oh, I thought there was, like, a specific item that people wanted me to get. Oh, okay. I thought using this glitch I could get, like, something kinda cool. I'm not gonna save. No. At this point, I don't want to screw up my save file. I got some good soul. But I'm not a soul... I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. Can I go on a rant? Again? Let me get on the soapbox. I'm sure people love that. Let me talk about how Greta Van Zeppelin isn't real music. We'll talk about Earl. And let me talk about how the line, I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier, is amazing. No, I'm not gonna bitch about it. I think it's actually kind of funny. The line just makes me laugh, and every time I hear it, I think about Justin Timberlake lip-syncing it in the Southland Tales movie with The Rock, where The Rock says, I'm a pimp, and pimps don't commit suicide. I'm a pimp, and pimps... That's all I'm gonna type. No, that's... I just got a bunch of Biggie Smalls. And pimps don't commit suicide.
I've never considered committing suicide.
Wow, this is a crusty audio.
I've never considered committing suicide.
This is The Rock, believe it or not.
I'm a pimp. And pimps don't commit suicide.
So that was a line written by the guy who wrote Donnie Darko. That's his movie. That's his follow-up to Donnie Darko, or one of, I think. It's called Southland Tales, and it is a bizarre, strange, terrible movie that I've watched twice. Because it is somewhat watchable and somewhat good sometimes, so it's kind of worth checking out. But you will suffer through it because it's too long, and some of it's so boring that it's not even worth sitting through. And it is originally a comic, but didn't the guy who did Donnie Darko write the comic? Or am I mistaken? It's about time and space distortions and pimps not committing suicide, etc. And I'm almost dead already. Wow, Clock Tower has not been toned down. But yeah, essentially the movie is like a more schmaltzy, schlocky version of Donnie Darko with The Rock. And but when people, you know, when people like talk about how Donnie Darko is the best thing ever, I like to refer them to Southland Tales so they can see what the director was also able to do. It's weird because Castlevania as a whole has some great lore, but on an individual level, you know, like the DS games, I feel they're adequate, but they don't, like, blow me away. But then you get into, like, some of the meat of the overall story, and it's pretty good. It's the world building is, I think, excellent in Castlevania. But some of the characters are a little iffy, I agree with that. Some, not all. Some pretty well fleshed out and good. Why would I even need to get in there? I just spent half my health trying to get into a place for no reason. Vinny, why does only one of your 90 emotes start with capital V? Dear God. Yeah, I noticed that. That was an accident. See, the Vine Old emote, I made a mistake. As a result of Vine Old. But anyway, this boss is where I'm gonna stop tonight. And, then we'll take a look at the art.
Ah, Alucard, what brings you to the castle?
I've left my comic books here.
Which ones?
Southland Tales.
I read that junk, Alucard! And the rock talking about being a pimp is not accurate. Do you know how many pimps commit suicide each year?
I would know. It was weird being a child and watching HBO and seeing a show called Hookers on the Point, Pimps Up, Hoes Down, and not knowing what these things were. Yeah, I would see that in the channel guide. I wouldn't, like, really wouldn't want to watch it, but I remember seeing the title of it, and I was like, what? I know people think that the thing on his robe looks like a bone dong, but I swear to God, it's not. Oh man, this RNG. Good RNG! That was fucking incredible, actually. Allows you to walk while underwater. Okay, so we have on water and underwater. All you had to do was call his belt a bone dong, and he immediately wanted to leave. And they say sticks and stones can't break your bone.